Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. Today, This Week in Geek starts early with our coverage of all the news and reveals for day one of Disney's D23 Expo.
Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Hey, I'm Nate, and if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast celebrating the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things geek-centric, and all things Disney for this D23 special event episode. Joining me for This Week in Geek, we have my fellow Mouseketeers, of course, Darcy, the Dank Duck Hudson.
Nice. I love it. Donald's my favorite.
Right? And there's so many wonderful memes of Donald just, on the he's enjoyed the well, what would ducks enjoy? That's, I guess, weed. I don't know.
Duckweed. I'm pretty sure duckweed's a pond thing.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
Duckweed. Ooh.
Put some pants on,
also, yeah, put some pants on. Yeah, dude, you're Donald Ducking it over there.
I swear to God, I'm not. I'm wearing pants.
Yeah. No, he's not. Listeners, he's definitely not. We also have Justin the Jafar Lawrence.
That's so funny. People used to call me Jafar in high school. Racist.
Justin, this is a Disney related episode. You're gonna have to keep. Oh my gosh! All right, we're not off to the best start here, but let's keep going here. Rounding out my crew of Musketeers. Hopefully, he'll be a little more civil. We have Kevin's a girl, Hudson.
Wait, what?
From
some F-bombs to that one.
Yeah, Kevin.
The bird from Up.
The bird
Come
from
on.
Up.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, that was fine. That was okay.
All right. I don't listen.
You'll allow it. You'll allow like it. That big goofy bird now. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All of our listeners. If we've already lost our parents and their kids, we've now just lost our hardcore Pixar fandom. Thanks a lot, Kevin. But as mentioned, we're going to be covering all the highlights and reveals from day one of D23 Expo, which is going on this weekend at the Anaheim Convention Center, which, Darcy, we actually had a chance to visit, and you were telling me, off air about how weird it was just seeing Mickey standing in different spots, and we're like, that's where we stood, just like not that long ago.
Well, I'm pretty sure we had a selfie where the Mickey statue's placed, so it's just like, it is. I've been there. I know exactly where things are laid out in my head. This is cool.
Totally. And so that our listeners know how we're kind of going to lay out this episode, we're going to be kind of focusing on sort of the panels in the order that we were able to watch them at. Not everything was streamed, unfortunately, so we're kind of going off of some notes from around the Twitter and what have you. But the day kicked off with the Disney Legends panel, where we opened with a nice message from Walt himself, and then a hype reel of all things, D23 Disney parks, as they were celebrating the 100 years of wonder. We had the genie from Aladdin, calling out that they haven't been there for 3 years. James Monroe Iglehart, I think I'm pronouncing that right. I had the chance to see him on stage in Toronto. He is fantastic. He's super talented. He even slipped in a body yaddy yaddy into the song at one point. But they did open up with a song. It was interesting. It was like a mashup of all the various, between The Lion King, Frozen, and Aladdin, the different Broadway musicals. And I don't know if it fully worked. Darcy, I know you had some sort of, you didn't really enjoy it either.
No, maybe it was the audio quality, because some of the streaming aspects did seem a bit, haphazard at times. But the quality or the music, like the songs, did not line up at all, in my opinion. And when they're singing over each other for like each of the choruses, I had such a hard time focusing on what people were saying. It was so dissonant because they were all singing in different keys. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, no, and Darcy, I think it might have been a bit rushed as well. Like, it definitely felt like maybe that idea was a little late in the production. So I all of these folks are so talented that it just sort of was a little mind-blowing to me that didn't turn out to be phenomenal, but I think it was maybe an overall production issue, with how it was made. Bob Paycheck, Chapek came out on stage, and Disney's CEO came in to introduce the Legends panel, and started introducing it pretty nicely. And then on the stream we were watching, we got interrupted by Brie Larson and Elijah Allen Blitz coming in to promote their new short film, Remembering, on Disney Plus. They talked about dolphins and waterfalls and things coming through your iPads. I don't know, Justin. What did you think of the production of the stream today?
I think the stream itself was a little. I think just a little bit more planning could have made the streaming portion of D23, a little bit more successful, and made it its own special sort of thing for those who couldn't be there, that could enjoy it from home and understand what was going on and where they were and stuff like that. I think Star Wars Celebration does it really well. There's an opportunity here to kind of improve on the experience. But that being said, I appreciate the fact that they streamed what they did, so we at least got to see something.
Totally.
I think it's really disappointing because this isn't like something that happened at the, they had to throw it together like this because a pandemic started and they were scrambling. They had years to put this sort of together and figure out how they could properly put this presentation together. And I don't know if it was, issues in the production truck and maybe a lack of communication there, or just, why not have multiple streams that users at home can flip between
for different halls, for the different halls, because there's different halls. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And obviously, then you could, go to a black screen. Sorry, this is for people in attendance only whenever you were showing stuff.
Sure.
And that would just be a really easy way to prevent anything that people at home aren't supposed to see. This is really weird that they had all this time to organize it, and this was the best they could do. Disney does so much right. Anything online is just miles behind where it should be when it comes to Disney, be it booking park reservations, anything like that. They just seem to struggle with the online format so much, which, makes the fact that at least their streaming service, Disney Plus is thank God it's good. Because if it was anything like the presentation today or a lot of their online content, it would have flopped hard a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying off air to Nate that, like, Justin mentioned Celebration, and it was happening at the same place. You'd think they'd bring in the same team who was in charge of the streaming at Celebration, because it seemed to have their stuff together. So I'm just wondering what team is different that, allowed for Celebration to have their format and have it work, so that Justin, like he was saying, he was able to follow along more consistently with their format. And how come that didn't transfer over to this, like, their own flagship convention? It just seemed odd.
Yeah, no, and I think the other thing to think about too, like I didn't even think about that, Kevin, that they have had a long time to prepare for this. I also think, though, as somebody who's had to do live productions before, they haven't done it maybe like actually run through it, and it's you could prepare and prepare and prepare, but it's always going to be different when you have the actual day happening, right? And so I'm wondering if they maybe got a little bit of the jitters there. But listen, we did, we got to cut to a wonderful guitar performance of You'll Be in My Heart, which I thought was absolutely beautiful and put me to sleep for a minute. And then we got, they released the Chapek cut at the end of the presentation and actually said, hey, we're going to go back and show you the stuff that we left out. So just kind of inserting that here, we did get an Avengers Attraction expansion sort of tease regarding Marvel Campus that dives deeper into the multiverse. And we're going to hear more from that on Sunday. And so I'm looking forward to, I think Kevin's going to kind of take us through that journey of everything that's announced from the park. So we'll get back to that at a later time. But we had all the characters come out on stage, and by the time we got to see it, it sort of felt like the party had sort of ended, and there's just a bunch of characters on stage now randomly. But they celebrated the Disney Ambassador program, which is absolutely fantastic. They had the first Disney ambassadors like in attendance with them. Tamron Hall came out and hosted and did, she hosted what she could, and I thought she did a serviceable job. And then our first celebrated Disney legend was Ellen Pompeo, which I thought was pretty dope. I'm going to kind of list off the legends here, and if there's anyone you guys want to quickly shout out, we'll go for it here. We also Disney Imagineer Robert Coltrane, Patrick Dempsey, Doris Hardoon, who's an Imagineer. We also had Anthony Anderson, as well as Trace Ellis Ross of Blackish. Rob Foster's daughter, Debbie Swinson, came out and accepted on his behalf, and he's the guy that actually secretly bought all the property for Disney World, and so he was a very important person within the Disney World expansion. Chris Monton, who curated and worked with all the musicians to create Disney music, was accepted as well as Jonathan Groff, Kristen Bell, and Josh Gad, as well as Adele Dazeem. Idina Menzel, and then Don Hahn was not available, unfortunately, but they ended with a really loving acceptance speech from Derek Bozeman for Chadwick Boseman. So, guys, is there anyone out of that big list that I just named, anyone that you want to kind of shout out and talk about their acceptance speech for becoming a Disney legend?
Chadwick's, I think his was, I love that they left it to the end. It wasn't necessarily as emotional as I would have anticipated. I think his brother has some experience with public speaking. He was captivating, but I also think he was a little nervous too, to a certain degree. He kept kind of finding his eye line over to his family. I think that helped him to stay grounded and remind him what he was doing there and who he was honoring. It just allowed him to stay connected so that he could properly share his thoughts. And yeah, it was great to see that him being inducted in this Legends program. He impacted Disney huge with the introduction of T'Challa and Black Panther, and that movie really does set the bar, expectations of what a hero is, right? And he's just such a person who very much his own personality was T'Challa, right? So I think that's very much what inducting him into this Disney Legends is to celebrate, is that he was wholeheartedly T'Challa.
Yeah, Darcy, how about yourself?
Some of my favorites are the Imagineers. I always love seeing the people behind the rides in the parks that we love to go to year after year. So whenever they get a chance to talk about their experiences or just express their gratitude for our love for their creations, it's always really heartwarming to see. And again, those are probably my favorite ones because Robert Coltrane said that they're usually hiding behind the curtain, and he seemed very nervous and was very upfront about that. And again, without those guys, we wouldn't have the parks that we love today. So it's really
the memories.
cool to hear them talk. Yeah,
and the memories, right? Like they play a huge part in those memories that we have with those parks, right? So I will shout out the Grey's Anatomy, Ellen Pompeo and Patrick.
You're a big
Dempsey.
Grey's fan, eh?
My wife got me hooked on it, so it's I've watched it twice through, and that's a lot of episodes. so it's medical drama soap opera. It's enthralling. It's a good thing to just turn your brain off. You don't need to think too much about it. So
I'll shout out Chris Monton, who helped curate and work with all the different musicians to create Disney music. I love that he talked about talking to Phil Collins on the phone. Over the phone, creating the soundtrack for Tarzan and I'll Be in Your Heart. And one of my favorite things he did is he called out Paramount. He's like, I want everyone right now to list their top 5 Paramount songs. It's you can't do it. You can't do it, right? You can name your top 5 Disney songs, but I just love that. I thought it was such a great sort of little cheeky thing. But I also wanted to call out Kristen Bell, who apologized for, to all the parents for having to hear the soundtrack to Frozen a billion times. The fact that she dressed up as Bob Iger for her 7th birthday is absolutely phenomenal. And Josh Gad, getting to hear at the end of his speech, he had a really wonderfully hilarious speech of just he's like, I peaked at 41. There's nothing else for me to live for. I'm good. I'm now a Disney legend. And then I also love how he talked about the fact that he applied to be a Jungle Cruise skipper when he was 18, and then he was denied. And so he's like, I just want to quickly request that the Disney recruiter who denied me at age 18 of becoming a Jungle Cruise skipper, please update my resume to say Disney legend, Josh Gad. It was just such a good drop the mic moment. He's so funny. I'm so happy that all these wonderful folks got a chance to become Disney legends. Let's move on here. That panel, like with any award show, went extremely long, way longer than it needed to, essentially. I think they were a bit delayed as well. I don't know what happened. Anytime you have speeches, it's hard to obviously figure out that timing, but it wrapped about like 30 or 40 minutes late. But they did wrap with the cast of Encanto, obviously singing "We Don't Talk About Bruno." And that's, everyone was... It was fine.
Everyone's still talking about Bruno, but he doesn't want to be talked about. Like,
he doesn't want to be talked about. Just stop talking about him. It's fine. We don't need to talk about him anymore. It's a good song, but it's like, I don't know. If it didn't sound good on that stage. I'll just say that. And I think those folks, again, are incredibly talented musicians and vocalists, but something about that sound mixing was not working. Now, we did get a chance then to switch to another stream, which, again, Kevin, you bring up the idea of like, why did they not have this more organized? Or if they did want to do separate streams, how was that not communicated a little bit better? Because we were sitting there in our main stream just like, okay, where's the Marvel Games panel? It's about to start. And then we had to switch over to a completely different stream. So we actually got a chance to tune into the Marvel and Disney Games panel hosted by Blessing Adeyoye Jr. of Kind of Funny. Shout out to Blessing, did a phenomenal job. And I'm going to be pulling all this information from Adam Bankhurst at IGN, who did a wonderful write-up if you want to get a good visual recap of all the things after we talk about them. And we'll link that in the description. Now, I want to start off with Tron Identity. It's a new visual novel adventure from Bithell Games. Thomas was alone. And I'll tell you this. This, obviously, teaser really doesn't do too much. It's like 30 seconds of like a little Tron disc unlocking itself. I went into the Steam page for this where you can wishlist it right now, and I kind of went on a bit of a journey with whether or not I was excited about this game, because I will say, Darcy, I think you've talked about Thomas Was Alone on the podcast recently. And so Bithell Games, I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like stoked. So initially I was like, oh man, it's not going to be like an action game or like a 3D game. It's going to be a story novel game. But then I saw Bithell Games. Darcy, what are your thoughts on Tron Identity?
Again, I wasn't that excited when I heard a Tron game, and it wasn't until I saw the Bithell Games name attached to it. A lot of their games are really good at telling compelling stories with really engaging characters. I mean, Thomas Was Alone is the one I most recently played and loved the most, because a collection of rectangles that are just different by color and size, and they managed to invest such a loving character to each of them that you fall in love with pixels on a screen. So I can't wait to see what they do with some more like a meaty story like Tron, because it is a really cool universe to explore more. So I am looking forward to their take on it.
Totally. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was very interested. We need more Tron. After Tron Legacy, I've wanted more Tron. So, and there's been rumors of a movie. So, and it seems perfect for a video game, given the fact that it takes place inside a video game, right? Like, it's on the grid, right? And there is a gaming portion to it. So, yeah, I think it makes sense for them to do something with it in gaming. So, it's nice to hear though that there's a studio behind it that potentially will be pushing a story to go along with this game. Is it going to be available for PS5, or is it like something that is
PC
just
and
on
consoles
Steam?
In 2023 is what we
Okay,
got.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we'll have to wait and see. We then got a trailer for, I think, maybe my most anticipated or second most anticipated game from this entire panel, which is the new co-op game with Mickey Mouse and friends, Illusion Island, which is announced exclusively for Nintendo Switch. Now, I'm not sure if that's a timed exclusiveness, or whether that's going to be it's going to be a Nintendo game, but I am so stoked for this. The art style looks like the recent Mickey Mouse shorts that they've been doing, and it also reminded me a lot of like the more recent Rayman side-scrolling games that we've been getting. And dude, just the idea of sitting down, couch co-op, and apparently it does. I was reading earlier that they said it wasn't going to support online. It does support online and local split screen co-op. So I am super stoked to be playing this with the Geekcentric gang. I definitely want to be. I think I want to be Goofy. I'm pretty sure I want to be Goofy. I'm pretty goofy.
Oh, bud. we'll fight on
We'll
this
fight
one.
over Goofy, yeah.
But this one does look really fun, and I'll be Minnie. I don't care. Just I want in on this one when we do the group play.
Yeah, I feel like Minnie's going to probably be one of the more powerful characters. I don't know. I feel like she's got, looking at her moves in the trailer, it just, I don't know, it looks fantastic. It just looks so clean too. Like, I'm stoked about how like it looks like the cartoon, and I love when games have been doing that recently, especially with like the South Park stuff, and where you walk by it and you're like, are you watching a cartoon right now?
All I can say is dibs on Donald.
There you go. I mean, you already got the pants off, so. Now we're
not doing same couch split screen if you're going pants.
You're going pants.
That's what you'll
If
do.
you're going,
pants.
yeah, he's going full Donald.
Pants.
He's going full Donald. We can't play co-op. Now we did then get to a gameplay trailer for Firaxis's Midnight Suns. I got to admit, I am not a tactical RPG person, but I did want to ask, because it is Marvel, what are you guys thinking of this gameplay trailer for this game that now has an announcement release date of December 2nd?
Well, I'm glad it's coming sooner. I'm because it was delayed, and I think when it was delayed, they didn't announce a date, right? They just said it was delayed. So it's nice that it is coming out before the end of the year. My only trepidation with this game is after playing Avengers and having that sort of experience. I don't know if that's what they're going for with this one, where it's going to be very cooperative. You're bouncing around between the different characters, or if it's something like there's this old X-Men game where you like picked your team and you would have like 4 characters with you, or 2 or whatever, and you would just flip-flop between the 2 characters as you went through the story. If they do something like that, I do think that the character list that they have seems pretty epic.
Yeah.
To have like a Blade and a Ghost Rider in a video game, that's going to be pretty dope. And even just to get a little taste of Wolverine in his own video game, like in that style. Like, I know we've had adaptations of that, but it looks interesting. I just don't know if I want to jump the gun right when release happens to try it out. I want to see what people are going to say about it.
I love the tactical RPG genre. It's some of my favorite games. Just I like cracking puzzles, and those are just puzzles with characters you fight with. So I'm looking forward to it a lot. Again, that roster of characters is sick, and with that teaser that we got after the gameplay trailer was also pretty cool and got me more excited for the characters involved.
Yeah, I was going to say the animated short trailer, it seems like they're going to do a series of these shorts. That I was like, I'm totally in for that.
It's good marketing.
Like, that looks
it's
fantastic.
Good marketing. Yeah, I think that's a smart way to kind of introduce the gallery of characters that you'll have.
Now, they also gave Marvel Snap an October 18th official launch. I will tell you, I have been playing Marvel Snap, and as much as I'm not like a tactical RPG person necessarily, card games can sometimes pull me in, and this is kind of like, if Midnight Suns is Marvel's XCOM, this is Marvel's Hearthstone, and I am really digging it. I'm playing the beta right now that I had to create a fake like Brazilian Apple ID just to download, and I did it. It's very easy to do if you want to look it up. And I managed to download the game and start playing it. And dude, it is so much fun.
That's where you lose me. I'm not the biggest fan of those card-based video games. If I'm going to play a card game, I'll play it with a friend sitting across the table.
Yeah. No, man. It's just the thing about it that I'm really digging. There's really 2 aspects to it. Number one, you can complete a game within 3 minutes. It's fantastic. And secondly, the aspect of collecting these cards, you can upgrade these cards. It doesn't do anything for them in terms of what they do. It just makes them more visually interesting. So you can upgrade them to it does like borderless, where you go out the border, and then 3D, where you actually turn your phone and it actually the card like sort of moves around. It's really neat. And then the cards themselves also have individual actions when you pick them up. So if you pick up the Iron Man card, there's little jet boosters coming out of the bottom. Or if you pick up Quicksilver and you move him around, he like switches around really fast with like little blue lines behind him. It's really fun.
The visuals do look really, really snappy. No pun intended. They are, but they're really, really sharp to sort of to give it a little bit of a boost over a traditional card game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, check it out. I promise you, make a Brazilian Apple ID if you want before October, unless you want to wait. You can pre-register now as well for the launch for that as well, and you'll get a free special edition card or something like that. So definitely check it out. And then I believe one thing that Justin was sort of super freaking out about, we got a Gargoyles Remastered announcement.
Yeah.
I think I just said Gargoyles Remastered. A Gargoyles. We got a Gargoyles Remastered announcement. Justin, what did you think of Gargoyles Remastered?
Well, I remember this game being an SNES game, right? So I feel like if it's the same game that I'm thinking of, it was friggin' difficult. So it'd be interesting to see. I feel like this remastered version is very similar to, I believe it was Aladdin and Lion King that they re-released for the Switch and other consoles as well. So I like that they're digging back into their retro game packs and saying, hey, why don't we just bring this back, because it did have an audience. I think it'll do well.
Yeah, totally.
When they were making the announcement, they didn't show the any of the new remastered footage, did they? They just sort of showed the original.
They said
stuff.
original gameplay and that stuff, in the trailer there. I'm super stoked, and like you said, the original game was really hard, and I remember the original Lion King game being super hard too, and a lot of that had to do with the confines of the system they're on now. So this remastering, it's a perfect time to deal with while side scrollers are kind of getting a resurgence in popularity. This is the perfect time to bring back a game that they can polish off and make easier to play while still bring back all those memories of the people who did play it when they were younger.
Yeah, exactly. And it was Sega. It was a Sega game. Sega Genesis. My cousin had it. Now it's all coming back to me. And I believe in this article on IGN they say it's one of the early projects of Giacchino. Is one of So I think that's so funny that he worked
Full
on
circle.
That
If we ever get to
music.
chat with him again, I'll just be like, dude, your work on Gargoyles was incredible.
Gargles.
Just don't call it
It's always
Gargles.
called Gargles. Yeah, don't call it Gargles. Giacchino. We're going to talk about Gargles.
Yeah. Hey there, Michael Giacchino. You did Gargles. Okay. Now, we also got another look at Disney Speedstorm, which is done by Gameloft. It's going to be coming out. It says coming soon, but the trailer was really weird for it because it was like coming soon, and then it was like, and coming soon. It's like, wait, what's coming soon? And so I guess what they were doing was they showed off the game, but then they also announced that Sully, Mike Wazowski, Celia May, and Randall will be joining with a new Monsters Inc. inspired racetrack called The Factory. The cinematic for this game looked incredible. The gameplay looks fine. I'm a little worried about the fact that it's Gameloft. Because if for anyone who knows Gameloft is notorious for normally developing games that are kind of they aspire to be the games you love, and for a cheaper price, or sometimes free, and they never quite hit that, unfortunately. So I'm interested, but I'm going to temper my expectations.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Mario Kart DLC pass going on right now, where they're basically doubling the size of the game over the next year or so. There's going to be a hard competitor for any other racing game, especially one from a company with the reputation that you just mentioned. I'm also very worried, while also kind of interested.
Yeah, totally. Now the panel ended with a very. We'll talk about there was something awesome that it ended with, but it actually ended. The last thing we got to see was really such a mid-announcement Marvel World of Heroes by Pokemon Go developer Niantic, where you can go fight people in the street and punch them and I don't know, become Marvel heroes all over the world. So that's interesting. You can pre-register now if you want to try that out. I don't know if that's going to be something I want to check out. But what I really want to talk about is Amy Hennig and Skydance New Media showed off a tease for their new game with Marvel, which is a Captain America and Black Panther story set in World War II, which is absolutely phenomenal. The game is currently untitled, but it promises to feature 4 playable heroes: a young Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, a Zuri, who is T'Challa's grandfather, and the World War II era Black Panther, Gabriel Jones, a U.S. soldier and member of the Howling Commandos, and Nanali, leader of the fledgling Wakandan spy network. This sounds phenomenal. I wish we got to see more of it, but for what they showed and for what they're promising, I am so stoked. What did you guys think of this new Skydance Media and Amy Hennig game from Marvel?
I am super stoked. I mean, just the fact that it's set in the 40s during World War II, I'm getting strong Defenders vibes from it, because that is a very early formation of the team was Captain America, the Cyborg, Human Torch, Namor, and Bucky, of course. So it's interesting to see that the Black Panther teaming up here. It makes sense because in the history, there's always been a Black Panther, and I wouldn't see him sitting idly by while the world's at stake. So I am really, really interested to see what story they're going to tell with these characters, because there's a lot of cool potential there.
Yeah, and I think that if those characters that you mentioned, the idea of a team superhero group made up of like retro vintage even heroes, I think that's awesome. I think we'll see them in a sequel, and I think this one will probably stay relatively focused on Steve Rogers and this version of Black Panther. But that said, it would be really interesting to see what sort of side characters they bring in. Endless possibilities. And Nate, did we talk about this in a
we did
This Week in Geek?
Skydance New Media a while ago announced that they're going to be working on another Star Wars game. They're also going to be working on a Marvel game, and I guess this is what it is. I'll just quickly shout out, like, Amy Hennig, Kevin, Uncharted 1, 2, 3. Like, that's her. That is her. So the fact that we're getting from the makers of Uncharted, or from the kind of the I guess lead writer of Uncharted, Amy Hennig, is absolutely phenomenal. I cannot wait to see how many characters as Captain America we just get to shoot and not feel any remorse for it all.
All I know is they had me at the tag King, Captain, Soldier, Spy. Like, so that's sick. So badass. Yeah, I was in right there.
Well, that was the Marvel Games panel. And then for, the rest of the evening, we sort of got a little bit of a break. And then we moved on to the Disney and Pixar Studio Showcase for day one. And for this news, it's going to be a little bit haphazard for us. We didn't get to watch the actual panel, but we did get to see it, sort of little things dropping throughout the day. I want to quickly mention just 2 things that sort of popped out super early. Lorcana, the trading game, or Lorcana, the TCG coming from Disney. This is their sort of, I guess, attempt at Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, and I am so excited. And Darcy, I know you said you're not into the card games necessarily, but are you stoked to be collecting more cardboard with art?
Excuse me, I said I play card games with friends sitting across the table.
Oh, right.
I love Magic. I've got binders full of that, and I play regularly, semi-regularly.
Perfect.
So I will wholeheartedly be buying these cards, and if the game is good, I'm down to play too.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet deal. Yeah, man. Well, listen, I'm interested to see what holos they have and how they do rare cards, and they're gonna start doing things like park exclusive Lorcana cards. So that's gonna be quite a wonderful thing to collect. Kevin, you're making a face there. Are you gonna collect Lorcana with us? Are you gonna become a Lorcana boy?
No, I haven't collected something like this since the original Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
But this just seems like it could be my cup of tea. Oh no. No, what are they doing to me?
I'm so stoked.
And then you got me like, park exclusives. Now I have to be in on this.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We're gonna go nuts for it. I cannot wait. And then Justin, you put into the Discord, you actually popped in the Splash Mountain makeover image from D23. They had sort of a model or a mock-up that they made. Let's quickly talk about that. I think that looks pretty fantastic so far. It looks, from some of the concept art that we were seeing, it looks a lot brighter. They've got, apparently there's going to be a new restaurant that's kind of a Tiana's Palace theme, where they're going to sell special sauces and spices. And dude, I'm like, Oh my gosh, sauces and spices.
It's gonna be Louisiana.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be Louisiana cuisine style, right?
Yeah.
Like it's gonna definitely be a vibe, and I think again this might be something that even though it's on display at the expo, I think there's going to be a lot more visuals that we're going to have to see come Sunday when we're talking about the parks. But even just to see little hints of this, it's pretty cool. And I think this was something else we talked about. I don't think this is necessarily a surprise that they are revamping Splash Mountain into a Princess and the Frog themed ride, which I think you and Kevin talked about on a This Week in Geek, if I'm not mistaken.
We totally did. Yeah, but we didn't know about Eudora's Chic Boutique featuring Tiana's gourmet secrets. I'm just so stoked, man. I'm stoked for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and I cannot wait to see. And I'm calling it yet again, beignet scents being sprayed into the air at a certain section of the ride. I guarantee it'll happen.
They're gonna sell them somewhere. You're gonna be able to get physical beignets. Like if they're revamping that whole area with a restaurant and a shop and everything, I think they'd be foolish not to. But I think at least the piped in scents would certainly make sense at some point on the ride.
Yeah, totally. So, shout out to Eric Voss, who kind of helped us gather all this information as he was on the inside during the panel. And the first thing that they actually got to see was some exclusive footage of Haunted Mansion. We don't have any description for the footage. I tried looking it up. I couldn't find any. But they did announce the cast for Haunted Mansion: Owen Wilson, Rosario Dawson, Lakeith Stanfield, Danny DeVito, Winona Ryder, Dan Levy, Hassan Minaj, Jared Leto, and Jamie Lee Curtis, who rode in on a Haunted Mansion chair. Kevin,
call it a Doom buggy.
Oh, sorry, the Doom buggy. I'm reading. This is from Eric Voss. Okay, he must have been quickly typing things in. He knows better. Kevin, what are your thoughts on this cast for the new Haunted Mansion movie?
Dude, anything Haunted Mansion is my absolute jam.
Yeah.
And so the fact that a cast like this has been assembled, it's going to be a billion times better than the Eddie Murphy atrocity.
We don't talk about that one.
No, I couldn't be more excited for this movie. And the cast, I think it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a spooky ride. I'm just excited to see how they implement, some of the I hope the stuff from the ride. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's that's going to be the best part. I never saw the Eddie Murphy one, so I don't know if they did that in that one, but I hope they do that in this one.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure if they'll go the route that they did in the comics. So with the Disney line Kingdom Keepers, they release kind of mini-series based on rides. There's been a Tiki Room one and, of course, a Haunted Mansion one that I really enjoyed. And it was about a boy dealing with the loss of his grandfather and then finding out that his grandfather is trapped in this magical mansion.
Oh, wow.
Where ghosts reside. And so we see, the hitchhiking ghosts make an appearance in the comic, and Pickwick, the chandelier ghost, is there. So if it's anything like the comics, they're going to find ways to definitely allude to the ride and still tell a really cool story.
Darcy, your knowledge of comics never ceases to amaze me. I had no idea there were freaking Disney comics based on rides. I got to check those out for sure. That sounds amazing.
Oh yeah, they're great little miniseries and well written.
Very cool.
Definitely worth a read.
Dope.
I'm digging that Disney's very committed to telling stories in and around their rides to materialize them as part of the storytelling.
I see what you did there. Materialize.
Yeah, materialize. You got it, right?
Yeah,
you got it.
wow.
I will say the photo of Jamie Lee Curtis in this dune buggy does look awfully familiar to Xavier. So at first glance, I thought they were announcing Xavier.
Jamie Lee Curtis cast as Xavier.
That
Wow.
would be something.
That would be something.
But I clued in after I saw. I read the post.
Justin, for the Marvel when the Marvel panel happens, you have to retweet this picture of Jamie Lee Curtis and be like, cast this. That's incredible. Okay, let's keep going here. A Lion King prequel movie was announced titled Mufasa: The Lion King and will release
Forever.
in 2024. Disney has revealed the Lion King prequel film to be released in 2024. The prequel will reportedly explore the mythology of the characters, including Mufasa's origin story, and Barry Jenkins of Moonlight is attached to direct. We also have Kelvin Harrison Jr. and Aaron Pierre are set to lead the voice cast. Pierre will play Mufasa, while Harrison Jr. is playing Taka. Jenkins and Pierre previously worked together on the Amazon series The Underground Railroad, and the movie will be in a live-action style created through photorealistic animation and computer-generated imagery that we've seen before with the quote-unquote live-action version of The Lion King. Let's just jump right into it. What are our thoughts on Mufasa, The Lion King?
Well, we're wrapping up our review for Pinocchio, and a live action retelling of a story that already took place, and we already got our version of Lion King. It's interesting now that we're getting a new story. Now we're getting some more of that originality that we've been wanting, with taking the stories a little bit further in the live action capacity. So Barry Jenkins he's a solid director and filmmaker. I think Moonlight is very much proof of that. I'm excited to see what he's going to do with this. And
Totally.
For sure. I mean, you mentioned the two voice actors there, and I find it curious that you just said Taka and kind of moved on, because isn't Taka Scar? Isn't that his Mufasa's brother? Like, his name was Taka before he got the scar.
Wow.
It wasn't like he was named Scar and then got a scar later on. It just happened to line up. So
I think
I wonder
part
if
of
we'll see the origin of that villain.
I didn't read the.
I think-
really cool.
Darcy, I
Yeah.
didn't read the comics. I never read the comics, so I'm sorry. I'm a little loose on my Lion King cinematic universe law. But I
that's
I will say
that's-
I am stoked for this. I think it's going to be. Here's the thing. I wasn't as hot on the live action Lion King as well as Pinocchio because of just how much it was basically what we've already seen. This is going to do something different, and I'm so excited to see an original story within this world with these characters. It's going to give us a different perspective, and I think it's going to maybe give us a different look at Mufasa, because I think Mufasa is such an intriguing character to explore, because we really spoilers, we meet him at the end of his life in The Lion King. So to see sort of where he came from, how he grew up, and also to see Taka or Scar, I think is going to be phenomenal, because I really feel like they might do that thing where the roles are a bit reversed, where maybe, yes, the movie's about Mufasa, but we're maybe rooting for Taka for a big portion of the movie.
Yeah. I think it's both of their origin stories. If anything, it's probably an origin story to how their feud kind of start.
Yeah.
So potentially, I think this movie could explore that.
Kevin, is there anything you want to talk about with this announcement?
You know how I
segue.
feel about prequels for the
I
most
know.
part. Although this is definitely an interesting idea. I don't think I'm as down on these live action remakes as you guys might be, and so I'm excited for this because it's an interesting idea. But not because I'm sick of them remaking the animated films, which I think is something we'll be talking a little bit more about as we go through a few more of these.
Definitely,
reveals.
definitely. Like this next one, where we got confirmation that Jude Law is completing the trifecta. He's going to be, he was in Marvel, in Captain Marvel. He's in Star Wars, in the new Skeleton Crew series, and now Disney as Captain Hook in Peter Pan and Wendy. I know it was rumored before, but now he is 100% confirmed. So that's intriguing. It's a good poster,
And it's directed by the director of The Green Knight, David Lowery. He did a really great job with Pete's Dragon. He also directed that one. If anything, that has me even more excited for how this could be different yet true to the original, and maybe very much have the sentiment of modernizing it. Because I agree with Kevin. I think there is something to be said about them revisiting these stories and retelling them the way that we remember. I get it. It doesn't necessarily need to be done, but I think it's for a whole new audience. And, this one feels like it could very much strike that chord of feeling fresh and new for both new audiences and those who love the original.
Hearing live action Peter Pan, I'm super excited. Peter Pan was one of my favorite cartoons growing up, but not only that, I also loved Hook, which was already a live action retelling of the tale. So I think with this one, it'd be really cool to see not only homages to or retelling of that original story, but maybe get some of those, Hook elements to it and connect that to it as well, because that is also a beloved movie from our childhood. So big hopes for this one.
Oh yeah, well we'll have to wait until 2023 to see if it gets its hooks in us. But let's maybe shift sails here. I think there was another live action thing that was announced that takes place under the sea, but we're actually gonna save that for our trailer time. So Kevin, do you have the banjo? You have it with you?
Let me just
yeah, you don't have to play it just yet. You don't have to play it just yet. We just make sure it's ready to go. Because I did also want to mention we got some stuff from Pixar. Pixar's Elemental is coming June 2023. We got a confirmation there. Attendees at the expo got to see an in-work progression animation and some art introducing the lead characters, Ember and Wade, which is fantastic. Like Wade, you know how like you wade in the ocean, they're going to be a romantic couple composed of fire and water. I'm stoked for Elemental. I know we've talked about the announcement of the movie previously. Is there anything you guys want to mention about Elemental?
Just that poster, the artwork looks a lot like some of the early artworks from more other Pixar movies we've seen. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that style fully explored in this movie. So yeah, looks cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
On a very basic level, it does seem like that sort of traditional Pixar idea where they take something very simple and expand it into a much larger world. And so it might be neat to get almost back to the roots of that style of Pixar storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see Socks in the directing chair.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do, because he's worked with Pixar for quite a while. So I love that Pixar is really trying to open that chair to those who have been there for a really long time, and just they really want to tell stories that mean something to them. And I think Peter Sohn has worked at Pixar for quite some time. So yeah, it's great that he's able to step into the director's chair and make this movie.
Yeah, and that poster, I mean, I think Megan, who didn't get the opportunity to sit with us, but was following along with the news, and she was just saying, there we go, another art book for the shelf. She's gonna pick that one up. We then also got to see a still for Pixar's Win or Lose, which is the studio's first long-form series focusing on a softball team, and we got the announcement that Will Forte is going to be voicing the coach whose emotional crisis take literal forms, and apparently it looks hilarious. The screenshot that we got is just absolutely endearing Pixar. Yeah, and I mean, it's a sports show that's Pixar. Like, Kevin, you got to be all up and down this, right?
This was one of the announcements today that I didn't really know much about going into, but I'm very, very excited to learn more and see. I think there's a lot of potential for a great story, and now that you're my sports movie buddy, as you're getting right into them, this will be one we can bond over, I think.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
He can be your little spoon, bro.
Pixar also announced their next project in the studio's pipeline coming spring 2024, Pixar's Elio, in which a kid from Earth accidentally becomes the leader of an alien federation, which that storyline to me felt very Sony animation, more so, or even maybe something from like DreamWorks kind of thing. Like, it felt very it just didn't, it sounds unoriginal for Pixar, but I know that they're going to be able to make it, something super fun and original. And then Amy Poehler came out onto the stage to announce, and this was huge. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was not expecting this. Inside Out 2 coming summer 2024, which takes place in Riley's teenage head, where new emotions are going to start to show up, which is so smart. It's so incredible. I'm so excited for Inside Out 2.
Yeah, I think the fact that, again, Inside Out was hugely successful, and I think even with something like Turning Red and the success that movie had, I think it's, great that Pixar wants to come back and do an Inside Out 2 and talk about the teenage mind and the new emotions that show up and have that conversation, because I think in a lot of ways Inside Out was a way for kids to understand, engage emotions.
And now those kids have grown up, right? Now those
Exactly,
kids have grown
exactly.
up, and this is coming out at the perfect time.
Exactly. So I feel like, timing is everything, and I think that this is really intelligently timed to really hit the audience.
Yeah, the one thing I'm worried about when you say new emotions, though, is what happens to the emotions that don't make the cut. Because, I mean, we saw inside Riley's parents' heads, and they just had the straight 5. So what happens to those new emotions? Like, I'm worried, are we going to get another Bing Bong?
Right. Well, I mean, maybe they'll be more suppressed, right? Like, I'm wondering if she maybe goes through a bit of like...
They have different levels.
Or if she goes through like an emo phase at one point and dyes her hair black and's got the jelly bracelets, and imagine Fear, but he's got like a comb over, and he's like really just scared of like the darkest, most, emo things. Would be really fun. Yeah. And then Zootopia Plus was announced, a 6-episode anthology series coming to Disney Plus on November 9th from Disney Animation Studios. And apparently there's going to be one episode where it's about a sloth couple arriving at a restaurant right before closing. Now, Kevin, I know you worked at a restaurant. Did you ever have a sloth couple show up right before closing? And you're just like, come on.
Once a week.
I'm really intrigued. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like there's like a weasel that like wins the lottery at some point or something like that. There's like a dancing, I think, who is that? That's like the leopard from Zootopia, along with like the ox. I can't remember their names, but dude, that looks it looks like a lot of fun.
Well, I feel like this is sort of what you wanted with Raya and the Last Dragon.
It is what I wanted.
Is an anthology, an anthology series that explores a little bit more of the worlds, right? And I think, again, we were introduced to it. We didn't really spend too much time in the city. We got introduced to a lot of different characters, and I think what's nice about this is that it at least opens up that world that much more. Mm-hmm. So it's a smart way to look at your stories and how you can extend them.
Yeah.
Zootopia is probably my favorite Disney animated movie since at least Big Hero 6, if not since Tangled. So I'm super excited to get back to this world and see what else can happen there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I mentioned with our more recent short series reviews with Cars and Groot about how much I love them, and this seems, again, right up that alley where they're focusing on telling very specific stories in a world we already know. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if Clawhauser, I found out his name, if Clawhauser is going to be doing some epic dance moves, I'm super stoked. And then we I think the last thing from Disney Animation that was announced at the panel was Disney's Wish, an animated feature coming 2023 set in Rosas, a fantasy fairy tale kingdom where wishes come true, and a girl named Asha teams up with a silent star, and it's implied that the star is the star that every Disney character has wished upon, which is crazy meta Disney storytelling at its finest that I think is super cool. Apparently Alan Tudyk is going to play a goat named Valentino who wears pajamas, so that's going to be pretty fantastic. What did you guys think of the concept art that we got to see for Wish?
Before we get into the concept art, not every star, because we know the Blue Fairy is the star that Pinocchio and Geppetto wished on, so everyone but them.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm all for it. It sounds really cool. I love a good, mythical lore connecting all these movies that, we already try and build as fans. Mm-hmm. So to see a movie where they're potentially going to explore that interconnectivity that we look for is really cool.
I think it's fantastic. And I think what an opportunity to also find a way to integrate this into the park, right? Because I think that's where we're used to seeing all these characters come together and interacting, but there's not really any sort of lore or storyline to the park itself. There's sort of, they have their own sort of park stories that they sort of have in different sections, but to have something that might connect them all together would be pretty fantastic. So I'm going to set my expectations at like maybe they'll do that, but we'll have to wait and see, because it's just implied that it's the star that they all wish on, but it would be really cool if that's the case. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm certainly going to wish upon a star. In fact, I'm going to wish upon a star right now. I'm going to make a wish, and hopefully Kevin will grant my wish. and play us right into...
It's trailer time.
All right, so we actually got 3 trailers out of this panel today, and we're going to talk about all 3 of them. First one was actually for something that we got a teaser for already back in January, but this one was the first official full trailer for Hocus Pocus 2, directed by Anne Fletcher. 3 young women accidentally bring back the Sanderson sisters to a modern-day Salem and must figure out how to stop the child-hungry witches from wreaking havoc on the world. Of course, returning the Sanderson sisters themselves, Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and Sarah Jessica Parker, alongside newcomers Whitney Peake, Melissa Escobedo, Lilia Buckingham, Hannah Waddingham, which I'm super stoked to see, and Sam Richardson, which I'm also super stoked to see. This is going to be streaming exclusively pretty soon on Disney Plus, September 30th. Kevin, I'm going to pass it right to you. What did you think of our first full official trailer for Hocus Pocus 2?
Oh, the Sanderson sisters are back, baby. This looks awesome. Honestly, this looks like it captures all of the fun of the original. I love the few quick moments that you see, giving Kathy Najimy's character a silly broom to ride, or equivalent of a broom to ride on, and then Sarah Jessica Parker's sweet, innocent. I don't want to say anything mean about her because she's just so lovely. But I love the let's split, and anyways, it just looks like they've got some really fun jokes lined up for the sisters, and it looks like an easy way to sort of bring all of the familiar characters back. So yeah, I'm all for this one. Can't wait. Got the countdown. This will be my introduction into the Halloween holiday season for sure.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I have a recent addition to the Hocus Pocus fandom. I never watched it growing up. I wasn't the biggest fan of scary movies or Halloween themed movies, just because I was a bit of a chicken. But after watching the first one, I instantly fell in love with these characters, and seeing this trailer, it looks like no time has passed at all for them stepping into these shoes. So I'm really looking forward to more adventures with these familiar faces. And again, seeing Billy's grave at the end there, and he's a good zombie. You feel so bad for the guy again already. So I love it.
I like seeing Mary Sanderson
on the hoverboard,
the hover shoes or whatever. Like, I love that they're bringing them into the modern
2
times.
Roombas.
They're
because
they were using Roombas to fly. Because there's
she rides a vacuum in the first one because they don't have any brooms, and so that's why they've updated it, and so now she's got it's a great little bit.
So good.
I honestly have barely sort of seen parts of the first one. I haven't really watched enough of it, so I'm gonna have to jump in.
I already gave you crap last time we talked about that, so I'm really hoping you're gonna watch the original. Yeah,
it'll be a back to back. It'll be the same thing I did with Ghostbusters. This looks kind of like what I predicted from when we were talking about the teaser of, like, I feel like it might be a Force Awakens style movie where they go from being sort of the antagonists to working alongside the younger girls, and instead of like taking their souls from them or whatever, they pass on their powers. I feel like there's a bigger bad at play that's gonna come back maybe from their past. Maybe that woman we saw talking to them on their 16th birthday might come back, and so I think that would be pretty cool. I love flashbacks. I'm always a huge fan of flashbacks, and I'm a huge fan of Sam Richardson and Hannah Waddingham, and obviously with Ted Lasso and their characters there were so good. And I think his character of Gilbert getting more screen time than I originally thought, based on the teaser trailer that we got back in June. I am so for it. I'm actually really excited for this now.
That's what I was gonna say. It's not just the returning characters. It's the supporting characters that they're adding. That you mentioned, Sam Richardson, Hannah Waddingham, and even Tony Hale. I think there's a lot of potential there for some fun with those characters for sure.
Very cool. The next trailer that we got was for a sequel to Enchanted called Disenchanted. This is directed by Adam Shankman. 10 years after her happily ever after, Giselle questions her happiness, inadvertently turning the lives of those in the real world and Andalasia upside down in the process. This is starring Amy Adams, Patrick Dempsey, Adele Dazeem, Idina Menzel. I'm going to say it every time. James Marsden, all returning alongside newcomers. I'm so stoked to say Maya Rudolph is going to be in this movie as well. Yvette Nicole Brown, Oscar Nunez, and Jamie Mays. This is streaming exclusively this year on Disney Plus, November 24th. What a lovely treat to find out that we're going to get this movie this year when so many people didn't even know it existed up until earlier today. Darcy, what are your thoughts on Disenchanted?
I'm really excited for it. I love the original. The vibes I got from this trailer, though, was very much WandaVision. I feel like it's basically the Disney princess version of WandaVision, where she makes a wish and it goes wrong, and I can't wait to see what things happen because of that and how these two worlds will begin colliding. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think Maya Rudolph is playing Malvina Monroe in this movie. I think Malvina is going to secretly grant Giselle the ability to start making wishes, but it's got like an Ursula effect where it starts giving, maybe Malvina then takes over Giselle's body, because we do hear that bell at the end of the trailer rings, and then Giselle's voice is completely different. And then even at the end of the trailer when she says wicked good, it's completely different. That's kind of my theory on it. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, it's certainly the idea of be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
I just think, this will be such a fun opportunity to go back and watch the original, which I haven't watched, since it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe 15 years ago.
What?
So
Wow.
That's going to be cool. I don't think Sarah's ever seen the original, so we'll definitely do, much like you're going to do with Hocus Pocus, we'll do a nice back-to-backer. Exactly.
Very nice. And I love that line that where she's like, that's not an adventure, that's a landfill. And Giselle's so innocent. Just a land filled with adventure. It's so well done. The writing's so good. And
James Marsden is so good in the original, and he looks like he's right back at it here. He's so funny in that role. So I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad to see that it looks like he'll be at least somewhat prominent in this one.
Yeah, man. I'm a little upset that Kevin Lima, just because I'm a big Kevin Lima fan, didn't get a chance to come back to direct this one. Instead, we got Adam directing it. But I do think it's, it still looks hilarious. It still looks like a lot of fun. Now, the last trailer that we got for trailer time here, we got a first teaser look at The Little Mermaid, directed by Rob Marshall, who's also done Into the Woods, Mary Poppins, the live-action version, and Chicago. This is a live-action remake of the original Disney classic, where a young mermaid makes a deal with a sea witch, speaking of Ursula, to trade her beautiful voice for human legs so she can discover the world above and impress a prince. This is starring Halle Bailey, Daveed Diggs, Jacob Tremblay, Awkwafina, Jonah Hauer-King, Javier Bardem, and Melissa McCarthy as Ursula herself. And this is going to be coming out, I guess, 2023. We don't have a date yet for it. Justin, what are your first thoughts at our first look at The Little Mermaid?
Again, we're coming off the heels of Pinocchio,
Yeah.
and it was a retelling, and I'm okay if this is shot for shot the exact same thing of Little Mermaid, because even with this little teaser, I think it's telling you that it is going to be that. Rob Marshall, he has the filmmaking background similar to that of Robert Zemeckis, right? So it's fitting that these veteran filmmakers are stepping in to help retell or reimagine, however you want to look at it, the animated movies into live action that kind of follow the mold of, I think, what Favreau started with Jungle Book and continued with Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you mentioned that based on the trailer, you think it'll be just another one of the shot for shot or close to remakes. And all I can say is I don't know how you can tell based on that trailer, because talk about a teaser. Oh my God, there's just so much time showing nothing, right? And I was almost a little disappointed that they didn't show us more, only because I can't believe how long we've been waiting for this. It's been over 3 years since we made our YouTube video celebrating The Little Mermaid with the Funko Pops, and we did that when they had announced the cast and they were starting production, And so it's crazy when you see they've announced Snow White today, and that's going to be out within, 2 years of that announcement. And here we are, well over 3 years. It'll be close to 4 years by the time this movie finally hits, screens. So it's just crazy how long it's been going. And then after all of this wait, we barely get a glimpse of anything. So I need more. I mean, Little Mermaid was my favorite animated film when I was young. I saw it 4 times in theaters. And so I'm very excited for this one. And so yeah, I'm just a little disappointed we didn't get to see just a bit more of this world. I wanted more than just that little part of this world.
I will say though, for as little as we got, I thought it looked gorgeous. I think the waves looked gorgeous. I love the art direction they're going with Ariel's design. I love that she's more fish-like. I think that's phenomenal. I like that they're not afraid to go kind of, not that she looks gross herself, but like just sort of that underwater sort of, tentacly sort of fish look with scales, and they're not afraid to sort of really go realistic with it. And I think, Halle Bailey's version of Part of Your World, I'm not going to lie, it had me kind of it teared me up a little bit. Like it just made me really excited to hear the whole version. I just do hope that there's enough different in this movie. Give us different versions of the same story. Change things to the degree of Aladdin. Honestly, I thought that was such a great, after coming out of that movie and sort of feeling like, cool, and now I've got 2 versions of the Aladdin story that I could check out. Give me that for Little Mermaid. I think they can pull it off. And I know we literally just said in the Pinocchio review, like, I should stop getting my hopes up, but my hopes are back up. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, building off what Kevin said and the shortness of this teaser, it has me concerned that they're still trying to figure out their animation. Because I mean, we talked about how in Pinocchio, how Figaro kind of looked very weird, and he was, as soon as he got wet, it looked odd. And she looked great swimming and everything like that, but when there was a long, still on her face as she's singing, looking up in the sun, the hair kind of started looking a bit weird to me, and I'm wondering if they're trying to figure out the physics for a lot of these underwater scenes when they're talking and not being moving around and just being more static, because that's where these uncanny valleys will happen.
I think swimming will probably be a lot easier for them, but yeah, when she's sitting on the rock, it doesn't quite look like she is underwater. Yeah, I totally.
She's just sitting in a room with a spotlight above her, and then the hair is all added in post. There's a disconnect somewhere, and I'm not sure if that's why we only got a teaser that long.
And I love her braids. I just want to shout out, I'm just watching the trailer again. Like, I love her braids. I love that she's doing, again, they're doing enough with the design differently that gives me that glimpse of hope that maybe they'll do a little bit more with the narrative and the storyline to give us a little bit of a different story. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure she's going to be excellent in it. But that is there was so much we had a chance to talk about here, and that's just day one. There's stuff we missed as well. I'm sure you could find it all on Twitter and what have you. But that is just day one of D23 Expo. We hope you enjoyed this Week in Geek special edition episode. And if you did, be sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to subscribe to podcasts. And if you want to write into the show with your thoughts on any of the news that we talked about from D23 or anything we might have missed or your excitement for The Little Mermaid, well, Justin, I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to send this dingle hopper. I'm going to throw this dingle hopper at you to catch, to be able to tell our audience how to find us.
Well, they can reach us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. Or they can reach out to us on Twitter at GeekcentricYT or on Instagram at wearegeekcentric.
Keep in mind, we also have a ton of other episodes covering the latest and greatest shows and movies out now, as well as our interviews. For instance, we have interviews out with Mater himself, Larry the Cable Guy. We have an interview with Pinocchio's composer, speaking of Pinocchio, composer Alan Silvestri and songwriter Glenn Ballard. And we also have an interview out with Barbarian director Zach Kreger. So go check out those interviews, both on the podcast feed and on YouTube at youtube.com/geekcentric. We also have our spoiler-free reviews for Disney's Pinocchio and Disney and Pixar's Cars on the Road, which you can check out right now. I'm going to sing it every single time because that song is great. Also, if that's not not enough for you, we recently got back from Fan Expo as press, and we dropped 6 interviews with various Canadian artists and brands who make some really epic geeky stuff. So you can check those out on the YouTube channel as well. And we also have our weekly watch club that we put out every single Friday for She-Hulk: Attorney at Law. So you can check out, the episode on Thursday and sort of gather your own thoughts, and then join us on Friday for She-Hulk: Attorney at Law, where we just give our theories and predictions. And Darcy's had some really spicy predictions for episode 4. So definitely tune in to those episodes. And leave a 5-star review if you don't mind. My fellow Musketeers, we're going to continue on a journey. We're going to have more coverage of D23 Expo throughout the weekend. So we'll see what gets announced. I'm very excited for the Marvel panel. I'm very excited for the Disney Parks panel. And so we'll be covering all of that. Check out our socials to find out where and how and when you can find all that stuff. Darcy, Kevin, Justin, thank you so much for joining me for this D23 Expo episode. And as we say, love ya.
Get home safe, guys.
Laters.
Peace.